Hiya guys. With everything going on at the minute, I've felt compelled to share some of my story from what I've experienced over the last few years. So as not a lot of you would know, the original reason why I moved to Newcastle was originally to be part of an internship with Hillsong Church, or at the time it was called NCLC. Um, it was a It was named an internship, however, I paid fees. I wasn't paid for my time on my work, which required at least about 3 days of part of the course, and then whatever voluntary stuff. I ended up agreeing to with events that the church was hosting. Um, Within that time, I was processing funds, the donations for the church, um, which I don't know if it's still the case now, but was registered as a charity. So all these funds were processed manually on a Monday morning, by us that were doing the internship, as well as a few other members um, of paid staff. We were unpaid. We were paying for that privilege of doing legwork for the church. Um, Surprisingly enough, I learnt that the church has a select group of people called the Inner Circle, um, which are people who donate to the church on a monthly basis, who are signed up to pay monthly, um, that pay above a certain amount. I can't remember what that amount was exactly. I believe it's. I'm sure it was north of £100 or £200 or more. You were classed as part of these key people because you were handing over so much of your income per month. And whilst I was a part of this internship, I was part of the Hillsong bubble. I was part of the religious bubble, and I was blind to what was going on around me. What it's taken is having to take a step back and to analyse what I was seeing. And from analysing what I was seeing, the way that my time, my finances were used, I've seen that it wasn't right. I've seen that as part of culture, everyone's encouraged to bring more and more people along, to get there early, to set up, to pack down, to offer up their abilities, whether it's lighting, sound, music, playing an instrument, singing, even managing, like floor managing and stage managing. People's time and effort was used for free as volunteering work. You're volunteering for a charity which is under the guise of religion. These people are hurt. These people are searching for a sense of identity through whatever life experiences they've had, and they're given a purpose. They're preyed upon, um, and are used under the guise of religion to do this manual work, um, whilst at the same time being told it's going to bring them closer to God through community, through speaking with other people about your faith, and it's going to build up your experience. But at the same time, it's all this work that should be paid for to be done that isn't being paid for. It's being done for free by people who are hurt. And at the same time, like I said, because of this, at the time the church was still declaring itself as a charity. They have to submit an annual document to show where these charitable donations are going. Now, this particular document that I've read that was submitted shows the breakdown of how much the church makes on a yearly basis, or had made that year, how people were paid, what everything was going towards, and obviously the pastors, 30 grand, it was about 35 grand to the head pastor. The head pastor's wife on this document is down as part-time staff, who is also paid 25 grand for that year's work. What I've learned from this is essentially to believe half of to question everything that you see and only believe half of what you hear. Just because someone is coming to you and using biblical terms doesn't mean that they have your best interest at heart. They might talk as if they do, they might appear as if they do, but at the same time, if they're requiring you to donate your time for free, and also taking money from you at the same time, you're literally paying for the privilege of being used, and that isn't right. So, just a few thoughts. Seeing the way that things are going on with the government now more than ever, people are getting frustrated because they're seeing people in positions of power, delusional people with God complexes that are so out of touch with reality, are in positions of power and are abusing the power that we have given them. Whether that's even Jacob Young, a kid that I grew up with in church when I was a child. His family weren't particularly well off, but his family were also in a church setting, and now we're seeing he's claiming 38 grand in expenses a year, but then voting against children, getting families having financial aid to help with the children through a difficult time. So right now, what we need to be doing is relying on each other, because no man in the sky, if religion or a particular belief system provides you comfort and provides you hope, it is your human right to be able to practice and believe what you want to believe, and more power to you if that's what you believe. But my experiences and seeing the abuse of power by people with God complexes has caused me not to believe in that. Do I believe in there's a God or a higher power? Maybe so. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. But I know running a church declared as a charity, running it like a business, like a pyramid scheme, isn't what God intended his name to be used for. Whatever God it is that you believe, God didn't intend for people to be given false hope at the expense of their finances. So right now what we need to be doing is placing the value on our friends, our family, our relatives, because it's a difficult time. We're being told we're not allowed to socialise, but we're allowed to go to work and generate money for the economy, and these people that are taking bonuses and expenses out of our tax-paid money, they're turning us against each other. They're playing the old versus the young, the Tory versus the red versus the blue, it's it's any means of dividing each other. They're literally preaching on the TV that you need to be socially distant, that you need to be scared of everyone because they're going to give you a virus that's going to kill you. They're teaching you to stay in your house where you're not even getting proper sunlight, you're not getting, the goodness from the sun that we need for our well-being, our immune system. If this virus is attacking our immune system, what sense does it make to stay in the house, away from sunlight, staying in work, having no exposure to a natural source that boosts our ability to fight diseases? It makes no sense. So in times like these, we need to be figuring out like our priorities. We need to prioritize our family, our friends, our loved ones, even our neighbours. Like how many of us know who lives next door? I don't know my neighbours, and this is something that I need to challenge myself with. We need to be relying on each other and helping each other and sticking together. And just as we see politicians abusing their power, coming in with that are going to be spiritual predators that are going to try and come in and use you for your money. Right now, all we can do, we feel helpless, we feel trapped, we feel imprisoned, and really, it's trying to push us towards looking to the sky, looking for someone that's going to come and save us. At the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you. How many people die a year and God doesn't intervene? This higher power doesn't intervene. So what makes you think that you're any better, any more special, like God would step in and intervene for you? At the end of the day, we've got to save ourselves, we've got to look after each other's best interests, we've got to look after our own health and our immediate family, our friends, our neighbours. We need to look after the people immediately around us. So I know it's a waffle on, and it's a lot of stuff that people would see as atheist. I'm not preaching atheism, I'm not preaching any form of religion, I'm preaching common sense. At the end of the day, we're in a difficult time, a time that none of us have ever had to live through before. But what I am trying to do is encourage you not to be taken advantage of by religious groups, not to be taken advantage of as much as we're limited in fighting back or pushing back against the government, not just to be taken advantage of. And as mainstream media like the Newcastle Chronicle are starting to push the idea of it's going to be a completely different Christmas, police are going to be knocking down your door and arresting you or fining you or splitting you up, I'd challenge you. I've shared a link recently about from the Citizens Advice Bureau. Know your rights. Know your rights as to when a police officer or someone is allowed to enter your home. Because if a police officer does not have a warrant for your home, the only way that they can get around that is if you allow them in. If you tell them no without a warrant, they are not by law allowed to enter your house unless they hear screams, shouts for help, or if they believe that you're at risk to yourself emotionally, or like you're going to self-harm or you're going to kill yourself, or if you're a danger to others. That is the only time that the police have the power to enter your home without your permission and without a warrant. Also, that when they have a warrant, it is valid for one time only. So if they've been to your house and you used a warrant, then they need another one to enter your home again. You do not have to let them in. So it's just simple bits of information like this that are available on the Citizens Advice Bureau website, which right now are crucial. So I apologise for the waffle on, and I just hope that some of these thoughts that I've been having, that have been in my head, that I'm trying to verbalize so I can make better sense of them, are helpful to some of you that may watch this. You might not, you might have already switched this off by now, but please, just do with this information what you will, and much love, much love.